Day 29. What happens when you work with all of your heart? So we rebuilt the wall till all of it reached half its height, for the people worked with all their heart. Nehemiah 4:6. Plans are only good intentions until they immediately degenerate into hard work. Peter F. Drucker. Money may be the husk of many things, but not the kernel. It brings you food, but not appetite. Medicine, but not health. Acquaintance, but not friends. Servants, but not loyalty. Days of joy, but not peace or happiness. Henrik Ibsen. The prayer was delivered, the plea for help offered, and the request sent to have God avenge his people and to kick their enemies' hind ends for insulting the general contractor, who was God himself. The only thing left was to trust God to deliver. Nehemiah knew this, so he had a press conference with his ragtag men, women, and children, and told them to work like they had never worked before. I am not talking about a 40-hour work week with everyone humming, "Working for the weekend." No, this was life or death. Nehemiah's people worked with all of their hearts and did what was impossible. They built the wall up till half its height. Sure, it wasn't finished, and it was still vulnerable, but the word got out that this little city was serious, and they were already halfway there. They didn't start getting cocky. They knew danger was around the corner at every turn. So they focused on the great task at hand because their lives and livelihoods depended on it. You are at the same crossroad. You can either look at the financial rubble or start rebuilding. What will happen if you decide to work with all of your heart and be completely focused until your wall is rebuilt? You may say, I would not be able to go to the movies or to the mountains or do many of the things I want to do. But if you continue to place these important things above rebuilding the rubble, people are going to think those things are more important, and more importantly, so will you. I spoke to a pastor who had some unpaid child support from years ago, before he gave his life to Christ. He asked me if I had any suggestions about paying this enormous amount off more quickly, or if he ought to make just the minimum payment, which he could do for the rest of his life without paying it completely off. After all, the kids were grown and out of college. It was just a nuisance and a formality to pay the child support division now. I told him to take a 2-year leave of absence from his church, get another job, live on his wife's meager salary, and fully pay this debt. He should modify his lifestyle so much that every available dollar would go towards the debt until it was paid. Then come back to his congregation and see what type of impact it had on them. He thought I was crazy, and I thought that was the end of it. A few months later, I got an email from a guy with the same name whose title read, Sales Rep. He told me he decided to do just what I had suggested, and he was excited about what God was going to do for the next few years. Go, God. Now, it's your turn.